Hello and welcome. I'm Håkon. I'm here today from Visit Svalbard to bring you on a tour of Longyearbyen. Visit Svalbard is the official tourism board for the whole archipelago of Svalbard. We represent local companies within the tourism industry such as activity providers, accommodation providers, shops and other services. We have a total of over 70 member companies in our organization and we're happy to promote them to you. We are the main contact point for tour operators coming to Svalbard looking to get in touch with local tourism businesses here. We hope you enjoyed the trip. We're now at Svalbard Airport, the main airport for the whole of Svalbard. This is where most travelers first encounter Svalbard, and they usually then come by flights either from Oslo, which is a 3-hour flight, or directly from Tromsø, which is a 1.5-hour flight. So when leaving the airport, you straight away get thrown into the Svalbardian nature. And just outside the airport, buses are coordinated with arriving flights to take visitors from the airport and straight to their hotels or guest houses in Longyearbyen, which is a short 3-kilometer drive from here. Now we're around outside of Svalbard Airport, and here you really get a quick impression of the Arctic conditions that we're living in up here. Svalbard is an archipelago situated between the mainland of Norway and the North Pole, and immediately when you leave the airport building you get the impression of where you are. Svalbard is very sparsely populated with only 2,800 residents on the entire archipelago. 2,400 or so of these live here in Longyearbyen. Around 400 of them live in the smaller settlement to the west called Barentsburg. And to the north you have a abandoned settlement called Pyramiden, also famously called the ghost town of Svalbard, where there are some residents throughout the summer and winter season to welcome guests. And to the northwest you have a research base called New Ålesund, which is available for travelers in most parts of the year except in the summertime when they can visit by boat trips. Svalbard can be visited all year round, and we like to say that we've got 3 seasons in Svalbard: the polar summer, the northern lights winter and the sunny winter. And we're currently at the end of the dark season and heading into the sunny winter. The northern lights winter or dark season in Svalbard begins in the end of October and lasts until the end of February. What makes this period unique in Svalbard is the fact that we experience the phenomenon called the polar night all the way from November until January. While the rest of the dark season may have some variation in light levels between day and night, the polar night erases all these differences, meaning it's completely dark all day round. You'd think that there's not much to see, or not much it's possible to see at all when it's dark like this here. But Svalbard has more to offer than many would expect in this part of the year. In the Northern Lights winter, the main outdoors activities being offered are Northern Lights hunting, dog sledding, snowmobiling, snowcat tours, ice cave visits, ATV safaris, and hiking trips. With its vast wilderness and the nature here in Svalbard, the destination has previously been mainly reserved for people looking for outdoor sort of activities and nature-based experiences. But the more modern Svalbard of recent years has developed a wider array of offers within more cultural and urban and culinary experiences as well, accommodating even other travelers as well. What defines activities in the Northern Lights winter and the dark season of the year is that they're mainly operated in the vicinity of Longyearbyen, and that they're also quite a bit shorter in duration than other parts of the year. But that again enables visitors to combine several activities in a quite short program. So if they're visiting for just 2 or 3 days over a weekend, they can still experience as well. In town, visitors can experience other activities as well, and among the more urban and cultural ones, you have sightseeing tours, of course, and then you also have culinary and drinks experiences, such as a visit to Svalbard Brewery for beer tasting, or a visit to any of the 16 or so restaurants, pubs, bars here in Longyearbyen.
comes to the accommodation capacity here in Svalbard, we have a total of around 1,300 guest beds and over 600 guest rooms in total across the whole archipelago. These are divided between Longyearbyen, Barentsburg and Pyramiden. Here in Longyearbyen alone, we have just over 1,000 guest beds and around 500 guest rooms. These are divided across 6 hotels and 3 guest houses here in town. And couple this with the range of shopping opportunities you have from sports and outdoors equipment on one end to women's fashion, jewelry, and even locally crafted chocolate on the other. You have everything you need for what we like to call a polar city break.
In Longyearbyen there are also several attractions, such as a range of galleries with photography and art. We also have 2 museums and the world's northernmost church here as well. And also in Longyearbyen there are old remnants and structures remaining from the mining days of Svalbard when it was a mining town. And so just by walking around, visitors will be able to get in touch with the historical part of Longyearbyen and Svalbard as well.
The uniqueness of Svalbard can in a large degree be attributed to special natural conditions here, such as the way that the light changes throughout the year or the fact that there's no trees around. But perhaps the most well-known unique feature of the Svalbardian nature are the polar bears that are native to our archipelago. Polar bears are some of the world's largest carnivores, and they can be encountered anywhere in Svalbard all year round. Due to their presence, one has to be on alert and cautious when venturing outside of the settlements, even just on a short hike outside of the town or on the road between the airport and Longyearbyen. They can attack extremely quickly and without warning, and we therefore highly recommend that visitors are accompanied by a local guide from one of the organized local tour operators with necessary equipment and training to handle encounters with bears in the wild safely. There are strict laws and regulations in place to protect polar bears in Svalbard, meaning there are no polar bear safaris or anything of the sort being offered here. One may come across them in the wild through other types of activities, in which cases one may be able to observe them from afar so as not to disturb the bear, if it is deemed safe and in order by the guide. Despite this, visitors can feel safe within the limits of the settlement, and we recommend that all that come to visit us have a look at the Longyearbyen community guidelines to know what to do and what not to do in town.
I hope you enjoyed this trip around Longyearbyen today, and we hope to see you here in the future. If you have any questions or need to get in touch with local companies,